Welcome to the AOD Consequence Data Toolkit training. My name is Elizabeth Zink, and today I am your guide in learning how to utilize this toolkit. My hope is to put your county's data at your fingertips as you determine the incidence of alcohol and other drug use problems within your county's populations and subpopulations, as you monitor trends and problem incidents to identify issues and detect changes over time, and hopefully you'll be able to document your progress toward achieving targeted prevention objectives and outcomes. Today, we will take a tour of the toolkit, and then I'll guide you through the process of collecting and entering data into the toolkit. A couple of important notes before we get started. Note that this training has been created using a PC. If you are using a Mac, things may look very different, and you may need more individual assistance. We recommend that you use a PC to update the toolkit. Also note that not all internet browsers work the same way. For this training, we utilize Mozilla Firefox, and it is recommended that you use the same internet browser. Now it is time to open the toolkit and take a look around. Let's take a look at how the toolkit is organized. You'll need to use the tabs at the very bottom of the spreadsheet to navigate through each indicator. The arrows on the far left will help you navigate to all of the tabs. There are yellow tabs, which are the tabs that you enter data into, and the other tabs are divided into three subcategories. First, alcohol and drugs. Second, just alcohol. And third, drugs. The exception to this is motor vehicle collisions, because we only use alcohol involved collisions. Now if you use the arrow at the very bottom, you're able to scroll to the very end, which is our death indicator. We'll explain the use and purpose of each tab in the following videos. There are 7 data entry tabs in the toolkit. They are highlighted yellow and placed before all the table and charts for the related indicator. Data entered into each of the yellow tabs automatically populates all the tables and charts for the related indicator. This will be covered in the toolkit guidebook, and I will guide you through every step of entering this data. It's collected from a variety of sources, and each of them has a link to the data source located within the tab. The dashboard, located next to the Pop tab at 0-, provides a quick overview and comparisons between each of the indicators, and are presented at both the county and state level to allow county rates to be evaluated against a relative average. Data entered into those yellow data entry tabs will automatically populate the dashboard, and California is already entered for you. We've also included some conditional formatting so that the highest rates will be highlighted red and the lowest rates will be highlighted green. There are also arrows to compare state to county rates. Where the arrow is pointing up, the county rate is higher than the state rate. Each indicator has a series of data tables. The first tab will be alcohol and drugs combined, followed by alcohol alone, and then drugs. Let's take a closer look at these data tables. They are automatically populated by data entered into the data entry tabs, and they utilize simple analytic tools to help users interpret the information presented. This includes the use of population-based rates, and in most of these we use rates per 100,000, and they also provide comparisons between geographic areas. The first table shows a comparison between the county rate and the state rate. And then in the alcohol and drugs tab, we'll also compare alcohol with drugs, and there are rates and percentages. And then we'll look at demographic groups. We have males and females. We have tables for each age group, each race category, and in some cases we'll even include juvenile offenders. And so we're comparing alcohol and drugs in this last table. At the top of each data table tab, you will find a series of key indicator findings. And these are designed to assist you in creating your own key findings based on your analysis of each table. You'll see that there are sample sentences provided with missing data marked with brackets. Review each data table to update the key findings. Let's do an example. Let's look at row 4. This is referring to table 2.1, which you'll see begins on row 12. And we're going to enter our data. So if we look at it, the first rate number is about 1,400 and the last one is 1,200. So we're going to say offense rates for felony and misdemeanor AOD offenses decreased. So go ahead and just keep decreased from, and then they mentioned C17. We're going to go ahead and enter that number, which is in that cell. And we're going to go ahead and round it. So we're going to say 1,435 since we're rounding. So offense rates for felony and misdemeanor AOD offenses decreased from 1,435 per 100,000 in the first year. What we need to put is the first year in our data table. And in this case, we're talking about 2009 to, and let's get the amount that is written in H17. Our left will help round it. So it's this number here, 1,225 per 100,000 in last year. So what we need to do is enter the last year, which is 2014. This rate was higher or lower than California. So let's compare. And if you take a look at the chart on the following page, you can see that it's actually pretty similar. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. So instead of just saying higher or lower than California, our left will help similar to California's rate. Overall. And then you can go through and just, these key findings templates are meant for you to be able to put into words what you're reading in the charts and the tables. In some cases, you can get the data easily in the tables, but in other cases, you might want to look at the chart and visually see a comparison between what is happening. So when you look at the chart, you can see clearly every year alcohol arrest rates were higher, male arrest rates were higher than females. And then you can see 18 to 19-year-olds had higher rates, but then they decreased, and maybe the 20 to 29-year-olds had the highest rate overall for more years. And then you can compare each of them visually to see what is happening in your county. Each data indicator also has charts that go with each table. So as you can see, the first chart compares the county to California. Then we have a comparison between alcohol arrests and drug arrests. And then we compare each demographic group. So first we compare gender, then we compare age, we compare race, and on this case we're also comparing juveniles. And these charts can be used to assist you in modifying your key findings, and they present a graphic rate comparison to facilitate analysis. The toolkit is set up to include data entry from 2008 all the way to 2020. The goal is that this tool will have some longevity. However, there is no need to print or display years for which no data has been entered. The toolkit has been optimized to present 6-year trends. In order to display only relevant data, users should hide all but the 6 most recent years. To do this, you must select the years you wish to hide. So in this case, our 6-year window is 2009 to 2014. So we will select column B, right-click it, and select Hide from the drop-down menu. Next, we will need to select columns I through N. So select those by clicking and dragging your mouse. Then right-click at the top and select Hide. Then you can scroll back. Now we have optimized the display for our toolkit. The most important reason to do this is for the charts.